I want to start tonight. First of all, when Sean asked, but I'll be one of the presenters or readers or that whatever you want to call me tonight. Um, I told her no, I didn't think I was worthy. I didn't think that I had anything to say. And she said, well, just think about it for a couple of weeks. We got time. Just put some thought into it, Billie, and get back with me. And so I thought, well, maybe somebody needs to hear what I got to say. So here I am tonight. And I want to start off by telling everybody, giving you just a little bit of a background. And if you're in Sunday school, you know what my background was religiously growing up the first 10 or 12 years of my life. I attended Church of the Nazarene in Stanley, North Carolina. It's a Protestant church. It's a Christian church. They believe that the New Testament and the Old Testament gave you everything you needed to know to live through Christ. And they also believed that you were born in sin, you dwelt in evil, and you could repent. And after you repented, you could regenerate. And you've probably all heard altar call. That's what I think regeneration was at Church of the Nazarene. You went up to the altar when you felt guilty enough, in my opinion, to go up and be saved. So that's where I come from. We didn't speak in tongues. The Nazarenes didn't speak in tongues. There was no dancing. Not at Church of the Nazarene. There was at our house. And there was that I remember seeing Welch's grape juice at one time up near the altar. So I'm thinking maybe there was communion one time at least while I was in those 12 years. Maybe during Lent. I don't know. There was no baptisms in the church. I think it was probably you had to go and approach the preacher or whatever and ask to be baptized, and then it was done at like a river. I never got to that point to ask them to be baptized. Kim did, but I didn't. So I remember the sermons at my church. It was always a sermon where the preacher got loud. There was always fire and brimstone. I was always scared. Every Sunday it was, you're going to burn in hell. And the preacher was always looking at me. He was talking to me because he knew I had stolen that little pom-pom chicken at the dime store. He knew that I had cheated on the spelling test. He knew that I was taking sips of my daddy's beer. So I wasn't making any kind of eye contact with Preacher McKenzie, right? Because I knew what was coming next. It was the altar call. And I wasn't going up there. So I'm telling you this because it maybe has a little bit of bearing on my story later on. But at the time, I knew that this was, in my eyes, a guilt trip of everything that I had done. And the visions of fire and burning were not my visions of what my God should be. This was a loving God that I believed in. How could he send me to burn in hell for cheating on a spelling test? So I never felt comfortable there. Years later, and besides, how many times can you be saved? I mean, really, there was never any talk of saved by grace. It was, you need to be saved again and again and again and again because you backslid every week. So that's the church. I'm not down in it. I loved it. I learned a lot of things. But I knew everything was not right in my heart. Everything was not right in my soul. I believed my God was a loving God. I felt out of place. I felt like I was a target. I felt confused, and I was scared. I didn't think I should be afraid to go to church. The remainder of my religious upbringing was done in several different churches. I went to Catholic church with the doilies and the genuflecting, and I didn't know what it meant. It was pretty, but I didn't know what it meant. I went to Pentecostal. I went to Baptist. I went to Lutheran. I went to the basement of the Lutheran church for Girl Scouts for 7 years. So So I had a good start. So let's fast forward on to 1974. I met Dubby. I moved to Texas. We got married. We had fun for 5 years. And in 1979, we had my first child, Elizabeth. And she was born, and it was an emergency C-section. I'm not going to go into the details of that, but it was bad. So, and then let's fast forward another 14 months later, and then I had Katie. And Katie was breech. It was going to be a planned, C-section. And I went to the doctor, and he said, Billie, you're going to have this baby in like an hour. You've got like not even an hour to get to Galveston County Mainland Hospital, or what was it? Galveston County Memorial Hospital. And so I went, and by the time I got there, I was having pushing down pains, and all I remember was, we got to go now. Okay. Okay. And then I remember the mask over my face, them telling me to breathe deep, looking up at the ceiling and seeing the round OR light. And you've seen them on TV. They're big and round. It's got a big handle that you can move around to really zoom in on what you're going to. And I noticed that one of the lights was burned out. And I'm thinking to myself, do they know that light's burned out? And then I heard beep, 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 beep. And I'm going sideways through a tornado. That's what I called it then. That's how I described it when I came out of that. It was very traumatizing to me. After I came through that tornado, at the end of that tornado, I saw a brilliance. There was a power there. There was something, I didn't know what it was. All I knew is that it was greater than me. And it was revealed to me all the secrets of my existence, all the secrets of creation, everything that you wanted to know. And it was so simple. It was da 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 da. That's how simple it was. That's how I described it when I came back. And I said to whatever it was there, I didn't see an entity. I didn't associate it as a God thing. By the way, I wasn't going to church at this time. So I just said, please let me go back. I want to tell everybody what I've learned. I came back through my tornado, and I woke up, and the first thing I told Dubby when I saw him, that's my husband for those of you who don't know, I said, something happened to me in there. God, I died. He said, well, I don't know about that. They didn't tell me anything about you dying. They said something was wrong with the baby's leg, but they didn't say you died. I said, I died. I know I died. Long story short, I talked to my doctor. Billie, that didn't happen. Well, it did happen. And you have to remember, at the time, I'm 26 years old. I didn't know, I wasn't a nurse until I was 41, right? So I went to the hospital. I said, I know you've got records about my operation. I want to see what happened. I read them. I didn't know what I was reading. There was nothing about a death. There was nothing there. So I went home. And folks, this was before Oprah. This is before the self-help books. This was before the NDE books. And for those of you who don't know what NDE is, it's near-death experiences. So that's what I had. My tornado was described by other people as a tunnel. The brilliance I saw was described by everything else I read as a bright light. I didn't see any people that other people saw, that the loved ones who had gone before them. It may be because nobody I knew had died before then. I don't know. But it freaked me out. What should have made me feel at peace, gave me a good feeling with God in my heart, it didn't. This should have been something that, oh, I'm not scared to die now. Now I was scared to get into a car because I was going to die and it was going to happen again. Because like I said, I didn't see this as a God thing. So, I'm sorry. I'm going to start crying. No, I'm not. Let me find my notes. At this point in my life, I didn't know where to turn. Like I said, I wasn't going to church. I had talked to my family about all of this, and they were like me. They didn't know what to say. They, like I said, Oprah wasn't there. They didn't see it on Oprah either. And, they'd listen to me. Yeah, oh, that must have been bad. And God bless Dubby's heart. He must have thought I was crazy, but he never let on. He listened to me for so many years. And then 1985 came, and the doctor said, Billie, you're pregnant. And I'm like, I can't have this baby. But I don't believe in abortion, personally. Dubby didn't want to do away with the baby. And we decided, we're going through with this. And for 9 months, Dubby heard me say, I can't have this baby, because I knew it was going to happen again. And Dubby kept saying for 9 months, that baby's going to come out, Billie. And he did. And he was the best mistake we ever had. So, like I said, my family sympathized with me. But after Adam was born, he was probably a year old, and I began working at Mother's Day Out, preschool, play school at Memorial Lutheran Church. I liked it. I started going to church there. And eventually I went to have the talk with the pastor. And I told him what had happened to me. And I told him my beliefs, which were not traditional. They were things that I had concerns about that didn't come from that book that I learned about in my elementary years. And it was Dr. Cole, I'm working at the hospital. It was Pastor Cole. You remember him. A lot of you do. And after I finished talking, Pastor Cole said, "You're welcome here." That was the gentle voice that I heard. That's what I needed to hear, that there was a place that I belonged, no matter how I felt. Whether my faith was where it should be at the time or whether it was not, I was welcome there. Long story short, my kids, Elizabeth, Adam, Katie, Kim's son Josh, and myself were baptized one Sunday morning. Guess who my lay reader was that morning? Miss Hollywood over there, Debbie. And so the rest is really, really history. I have to say to everyone here tonight, this I'm going to have to read because So, my friends in Christ, that's my story. I found my home in God's house. I know now that my near-death experience was a God thing. Maybe I knew it then. Maybe my faith was just not strong enough to believe it. I still have questions. I'm still working on my faith. But I know the I am is at the end of my tornado. And I'm blessed to have each and every one of you with me as I continue this journey. Thank you.